You're done with your podcast. It's time to write a description and do your show notes. We all hate show notes. Today I've got a tip how you can use WordPress and speed things up.
The School of Podcasting with Dave Jackson.
Hey, I'm Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting, where I help you start your podcast and grow your influence. And today I've got a tip if you're using Gutenberg, which is going to be eventually the default interface to make posts in WordPress. So what I have here is, let me go down here into the corner. I've got something that I might put in every show. Subscribe to the show. There's my heading. I've got 2 paragraphs, one of which I've made some posts here. So you'll see here, if I click on here, I've got links to Google and Apple and Spotify. So what you could do is, instead of having to do this in every single post, you can highlight this whole thing, come up here and say, look, make that a group. And then once the group is done, I can click here and say, add this to the reusable blocks. So I could come here and say, subscribe to the show. All right, now I save that. And so what I want to do now is, let's get me off the screen, and I'm going to get rid of this. So I'm just going to click here and go delete. And I'll show you some cool things here, because I actually just made a mistake. But I click on my little block, I come down to reusable blocks, and there is my subscribe to show. I can click on that, and there it is. But notice how Google and Spotify are not bold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, look, remove that. I'm going to click here and say, go down to reusable blocks, and you'll see where it says manage all reusable blocks. So when I click on that, it's going to make me leave my post. That's fine. And I'm going to come here. Here's my subscribe to show. And I click on this, and I'm just going to highlight here Google and Spotify and say, look, can we make those bold? And now I update it. And if this was already on other pages, it would automatically update on those pages. That's what's kind of cool about this. So now I'm going to go back to my post. I've got just a rough draft here I've started. So I'm going to edit this, and we will pretend I've put in my title. There, by the way, is my block already set. So again, if this was on any page, it would automatically update. And if I click here again and say remove this, how I add this back is just click here. And I'm not sure if I click on subscribe. If I start to type that in, there it is. I can actually just pull it up, which you'll see is in the reusable. So I click that, there it is. So just to beat this dead horse again, I'm going to get rid of this and remove the block. I'm going to click here and go to reusable. And I tell you what, let's do this. I'll put that in again, and I'm going to call this test. And I will save that as a draft. There we go. Now I'm going to start a new post and click here and say I want to edit my reusables. So I'm going to click here and manage all of those. And just for giggles, I'm going to click here and add a new one. I'll click here and say Spotify, and I will say Overcast. Might want to add an extra space in there. I'm going to bold that. Now, for the record, I have no idea what my link is, so I'm just going to put in overcast.fm. I could search over there and find it, but I'm going to open a new link, put that in there, update that. Okay, so I've updated my reusable block. Now, if I go back to my posts, you will see in the one I just made a minute ago, a test, that there it is. So you could make this like the, I don't know, if you're doing any kind of promotions or things like that, and they're time sensitive, you could say, hey, if I'm a comedian, I'm playing at the Chuckle Hut in Poughkeepsie, and then when when that's over, you just update the reusable block to show your latest, whatever. Now I'm playing the Chuckle Hut down in Orlando. You're good to go. And you only have to update that once, and it updates across your entire site. So this is a way, again, anything you're doing on a regular basis, subscribe buttons, call to actions, newsletter sign-up forms, things like that, you could add it as a reusable block, and you can actually make the whole post a reusable block if you wanted to. But I just wanted to show you a glimpse of this. Now it's up to you to go, where can I use this? And again, this is in Gutenberg, and I'm with you. I'm not a big fan because we're humans and we don't like change. But that's kind of my job, is to help you embrace change and make those hard things easier. So if you're looking to start a podcast, come visit me over at schoolofpodcasting.com. Again, We help you start your podcast and grow your influence. If you're on YouTube, stick around for some more videos. Thanks for watching. Take care.